Mellow, again, with the red and blue.
Well, from both their perspectives. I mean, we see all the cards, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But down in the bottom here, looks like the flop is relatively kind
That's
to
not bad.
Yol.
Yeah. You don't want your Zeus taking damage. He's
Right.
3/7. He's a wuss.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want to hit stuff.
Yeah, he wants to just
Yeah.
survive to tone.
Yeah, your Beastmaster, you want that hitting the Zeus. But unfortunately, Zeus living for Mellow.
So Mellow's basically, he's got to develop this Prelix and keep it alive. We see Heffa has a pretty late hand. You know, you've got a Thunder Gods and a Thunder Hide already, which is going to be a little slow. That's good for Mellow. Mellow has kind of the hand in the situation he wants. We can also talk about the Friendly Fire in Mellow's hands. He's not going to be able to play it yet, but at the 6-mana turn, this will enable him to kind of force 2 of Yoel's units to battle each other, which could represent being able to kill 2 things at once.
That's right. The Tower Barrage, too, being a okay answer to a wider lane, although the Farvin, the passive effect on this basic hero card, is going to be providing armor to neighbors. So you'll see here that Ogre gains 1 armor, and this creep has 1 extra. And Tower Barrage doesn't do piercing by default, so that is not going to kill off any of these.
And we'll see Yoel draw his
you'll
Mana
see
Goat
that
there.
this
Steel reinforcements. What does that do?
So this gives your tower +1 armor.
Oh,
So you'll
that
see
creep that's hitting the tower is actually doing nothing.
it's doing 1 damage.
Oh, 1, because it gives 1 armor. I see.
Yep.
Okay.
Same with Ogre. Ogre is attacking for 3, but is only doing effectively 2.
Yep. Each individual attack gets absorbed 1 point of it. The Compel is going to be able to redirect the Beastmaster into that Zeus. Yoel has nothing to do about this at this time, unfortunately, so he will have to just let his Zeus die. And this is the start Mellow wants. This game could go in a very different direction.
And Prelix is safe for now, which is exactly what he always wants for Prelix. The longer she stays alive, the more she can trigger that passive effect to bring a melee creep into the lane she's in.
Yep.
So that 3 armor Mazzy, pretty tanky.
Very tanky, yeah.
Just doesn't die. You need that piercing to get through the armor.
Creeps basically do nothing to her, or him.
Wait, so why are all 3 of the creeps going mid?
So, Prelix has that ability we were talking about where a melee creep.
Oh, so they get
goes
an
into
extra
the lane.
one.
So she gets an extra one. But it just so happens, of the 2 random creeps that go in the deploy stage, they went into the mid lane.
There's a party.
It's a
You
party.
get on
yeah.
there.
And Zeus wants in on that party because he's got that passive for doing damage, piercing damage, anytime a blue spell is cast.
So Mellow's going to want to use Tower Barrage on the right lane to clear it up a little bit. That's why that Jamoy headed there. Left lane's not looking too good for Mellow. He might have to kind of give it up here. But giving up a lane with Steel Reinforcements is pretty good. We were talking earlier about like the risk of giving up a lane too much, right? Sacrificing it for too long gives them Ancient potential, but Steel Reinforcements helps slow that down.
Yep, once again, that's Mazzy's signature card here. So there's 3 of these in Mellow's deck right now. So Sven's going to have a gun here to shoot down perhaps this creep, prevent some damage. That's the only thing on the board right now that he can kill, since the Keenfold Musket does only 2 non-piercing damage.
Yep. So the Keenfolk clears up that creep, as you said. And we're going to have to see if Mellow decides to play a Hellbear Crippler here. I think I'd actually like to see him sacrifice this lane, but at the same time, there's not necessarily too much of a downside to playing it.
Yep.
Ooh, and I love this play by Yoel. The end 1 for me copies an item equipped by another hero, copies the Keenfolk Musket from the Sven, and then uses it right back at him, picking him off there. So now Mellow has just no choice but to sacrifice this lane.
Yep. Even though there's the Steel Reinforcements, that does block some damage. It's going to be a slow grind, but eventually that tower might go down if he doesn't defend against it.
Yep. And I like the Hellbear coming out here. You've got the battlefield control as well. You're going to want to use that to redirect your creep or your Prelix into that Zeus. Probably the Prelix.
Because you want that Zeus to die so that he doesn't have he can't cast this stuff next turn.
Yep.
Yes, exactly.
Although Yoel does have a Traveler's Cloak, so if he chooses, he can equip that onto Zeus to
He's going to do it.
Yep.
Why not, right?
You might want to keep
die.
this Zeus alive. At the same time, you look at kind of the turns, right? We're on mana 5 right now. If he dies, he's guaranteed to come back right at the Thunder God's turn. Keeping him alive 1 extra turn actually
So because
risks
he's
him.
dead. He's dead for 1 turn, then he comes back on turn 7.
Exactly.
I see. Okay.
So sometimes having your heroes die in a timely manner, instead of keeping them alive and risking them dying in an untimely manner, can actually be a strategy you employ.
He's thinking more turns ahead.
Exactly.
Yep.
I'd love to see this battlefield control. He's actually going to kill the Lycanthrope instead of the Savage Wolf there, though. it's a bit of a risky play. The Savage Wolf, as we mentioned earlier, will grow out of control every turn.
So what's happening on the board right now? Is Yol? Has Mello done enough damage in the beginning of the game to slow him down?
I don't think so.
Nope.
Mello has a good standing mid, but he's also maybe a little overcommitted mid. Mello's biggest obstacle is going to be taking right now. Mello has given up left, taking mid, and he needs to start putting more pressure in right.
So you think Yol's going to kind of roll him over when he gets to mana 7, 8, 9 kind
I
of?
think so. There's no way he doesn't draw a second Thunder God's Wrath by that point, I think. He's got a lot of draws coming in. Still hasn't drawn the second one.
Yep. On top of that, he also has the Thunderhide pack coming up on
Dude, that imp
mana
is
8.
so sad right now.
Yeah.
He's
There's nothing there.
worried.
Yeah.
Look at his face.
At the
He's
same
so
time,
sad.
this is exactly
breathing.
It's what Mello wants. You give up one lane and you drop a Steel Reinforcements there. Like, I love what's happening on this left lane for Mello. You've stranded two of Hefeklumpen's heroes, and you've got the Steel Reinforcements to slow it down, and you're 5v3ing the other two lanes.
Yep. The strafing run comes out. That does 2 damage to each enemy creep, so we
Yep.
see those taken down a little bit lower.
Very powerful strafing run, but he doesn't have follow-up. They're not going to be wiped on this board at all.
Yep, and unfortunately no piercing damage from Zeus's passive either to take down any stragglers.
Yep, Mello's thinking here about the Marrowfell Brawler. At the same time, again, this mid lane isn't Mello's concern.
Right.
This mid lane is one. Mello is, both players are kind of eyeing this right lane because Yol has already won left. Mello has kind of already won mid for the most part. And both of them are really looking at this right lane and thinking, okay, this is what my opponent's going to play for. This is what I'm going to play for. This is what's going to decide the game.
Yep, he does summon the beast here though, just pushing for a little bit of extra damage. And puts the Traveler's Cloak on Prelix for 4 extra health.
Yep.
Keeping her alive is good so that her passive always procs.
And saving this Marrowfell for this lane, I gotta say, I love this.
Yep.
Right in front of the wolf is where you want it. Of course, it's where you have to
616.
put
That's
it.
a beefy guy.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
he's like a hero.
Yep. This is a great drop to come down. And if you're Mello, you're not feeling too bad about this. This Thunder God's Wrath, though, is going to wipe up this board. That will kill 3 heroes immediately. And there's nothing Mello can do about that right now.
Look at these heroes left and heroes mid. Is this a single player game? Are they going to fight each other or what?
Yeah, very aggressive like lane sacrificing here going on, which I think I really like in draft. I think good players will do that very often. I mean, at this point, Mello is hoping to God Hefeklumpen does not draw the second Thunder God's Wrath right now, because the Satyr Magician allows him to cast both. This will kill 4 heroes instead of 3. Doesn't draw it. Thunder God's Wrath is going to come out, kill 3 heroes immediately.
Well, there is a chance with Ogre, that 25% chance.
Do it.
Here
Does
it
it?
is.
Yep.
Beastmaster dies. Prelix survives, but 2 heroes on the right lane, Mazzy and Jamoy, also eat it. Ogre 25%.
Does he do it?
Takes the whiff.
Nope.
He's got the Keenfolk Musket to push the creep out, and you can really threaten this tower off of that, but you don't have another Thunder Gods. This is good for Mello. Mello is still in this.
Do you cast the Dimensional Portal here and then to kill the tower this turn?
You have the ability to do that. It would represent enough damage. So the question is, you have to ask yourself, how likely are you to kind of make killing the Ancient your win condition? And the answer is, it pretty much won't happen.
Oh, he didn't do it.
Nope.
Yeah.
He decides to TP Farvin out instead, which I like because that opens up for the lane where he wants to put some more green cards down.
Yep.
So he has all those green cards. He has a Thunderhide pack. He probably wants that on the 3rd lane, right?
Yeah.
So he'll probably deploy to the right side, I guess.
Yes.
Mhm.
And I love this. I think the idea of trying to go for an Ancient kill, especially against a Steel Reinforcements, probably just won't work out. So I really like holding onto the D portal there.
These
Plus
are
he can
some
save it for this lane now
big
if he
guys.
chooses. Does do that. Throws down the Dimensional Portal and saves his tower from some damage from this Marrowfell Brawler.
We'll keep it in there. Keenfolk Musket just starts putting a little bit of extra pressure out on this Fen. Both players have expended their options. Mello can use a Cloak or a Salve. He's got to keep his Fen out of Thunder God's range. He's looking at that now. Okay, outside of Thunder God's range, safely. But Yol still needs to draw it.
That's true. He has 5 more coming. He's only drawn 1.
Yeah. As we can see, Thunder Gods is just a very, very scary tool. He's actually overriding the Keenfolk Musket with his Stonehall Pike there. So this is an interesting play. In Artifact, you can't equip items of the same slot on top of each other. So if you want to play something else, you have to override your last item. So he loses the Keenfolk Musket forever.
No more gun, huh?
No more gun.
No more gun.
Replaced with a sword.
He's chosen to go with the sword over the gun.
And
Yeah.
this is good for Sven too because his cleave ability is half of his current attack. And if this Stonehall Pike is going to keep gaining attack each combat phase, that's going to be more and more cleave. Still, though, who would you say the game is favoring right now?
It's still favoring Yoel. As
yeah.
we mentioned before, Yoel has a very scary deck. He's got his hand. He's got the Thunderhide pack in his hand. That's what he wants. He can still draw into the Thunder God's Wrath at any point, which will immediately kill off the Prelix mid, threaten the Sven right, and potentially clone itself with Ogre.
Do you think there's a chance that Mello can kill the middle lane 80 before
Yes.
before Yoel kills the right?
At this point, that is Mello's win condition. Yoel's hand has no way to stop a big lane that goes wide. You can see we're actually dealing 20 damage here. So Mello, I think at this point, is realizing that, and he's going to have to start putting down some pressure. You can use Potion Knowledge, hopefully draw into something proactive, but you won't be able to here.
He gets that Fractured Timeline, which is an improvement, which you can play to any other lane. And before the action play phase, it gives a random card in the opponent's hand with +1 lock, which prevents them from playing it.
Lock is just, you just can't play the card.
Yep.
As you mentioned, Hoppet, you're completely correct. Mello needs to win this middle lane because right is a stone wall. So if you're Mello, your two things are defend right, push mid, and then thirdly, cross your fingers and hope he
this
doesn't draw
seems
Thunder
doable.
Gods.
What if he has 3 heroes coming in?
Yes.
Yoel only has 1.
Yes. And
And-
Yoel has no answer to that middle lane.
Yes. Well, I guess Mello doesn't know that. He doesn't know that Yoel does not have Thunder Gods or double Thunder Gods or whatever with the Zeus coming
Yes.
in, right? So
But there it is. I mean, this is scary. So you've got double deployment Mello next turn, and this game is going to be largely decided by these Primal Roars. There's the first one coming in. Farvran going left
Ooh,
open
that's
a little bit.
that's good for
For Mello?
Yoel, right?
It's good for Yoel,
Is it?
yes.
Oh,
He
no.
wants the Farvran
Because
mid.
the Farvan's now mid and he can cast stuff.
Yes. If the Farvran had gone left, that would have been useless for Yoel instead,
Yeah.
because pushing left is less important than just developing more defense mid.
Do you think that was a correct roar, though?
I think it was. It was probably necessary at the time, just like keeping your stuff alive, keeping your blockers there.
And just something to point out, he stunned the green hero and he pushed the other green
Yes.
hero to a lane, which means he can't cast green spells.
Yeah. At the same
This
time,
turn.
though, the
He already
Thunderhide
spent his
pack-
mana,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
so-
It was already dropped. So
But that's
we're-
just something you can think about when you're trying to look at why they're doing things.
We're gonna have to see Mello triple deploy right here. You gotta do it. You've got red with Primal Roar in front of the Thunderhide could do it. You've also got your Friendly Fire.
Mello's looking to save that right lane instead. Not going for that win condition we were talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
with the
Wait, so
mid
why
lane.
wouldn't
Well,
he put them all mid?
So you basically have to go all right because
Otherwise-
there's no way to threaten taking mid in one turn. You've got to play defensive here.
You can
The
do
wi-
55. Come on.
55?
The thing about Mello's hand is it's a reactive defensive hand. You've got Roar, Tower Barrage, Friendly Fire, all like stall cards that don't push enough damage. So Mello just has to buy enough time for his middle lane here. And Yoel doesn't have board clear. This middle lane is inevitable. If Mello just buys more time right, he's got it. He has initiative now.
He's going to put a barracks down in that last lane. He knows he wants to try to block as much damage as he can. But again, with that Thunderhide pack, that's doing 6 siege. So even though the tower is at 7 and that Thunderhide is blocked, that siege is going through that creep and still doing that
And
damage.
the Primal Roar can't touch Thunderhide pack because it's not adjacent to one of the red heroes that Mello has on the board.
Yeah, so it's done a unit that is blocking an allied hero, so like the Lycan, and it pushes the things that are next to them.
yes.
So like the thing that's next to Lycan on the right, the creep.
Exactly. And that's definitely a concern for Mello. These aren't the spawn positions you wanted if you're him. You do have Friendly Fire. You can smash Yoel's Dinosaur into another one of Yoel's units, but it won't trade very well with anything.
You can also roar the Zeus, right?
Yes, that's true as well. Try to block him out of playing scary blue spells, but we can see Yoel's hand, and it's all green all the way down except
Yeah.
for Satyr Magician.
He did talk about that he went green heavy, right, in his deck, perhaps even more than blue,
Exactly.
even though he has 3 blue heroes.
What's the glowing things on the Jamoy and the...
So these, if the square on the hero is glowing, that means that you have the ability to activate that that hero power. So for Beastmaster, it's the Call of the Wild that summons that 3/1/3 Loyal Beast, and for Jamoy, lo and behold, oh my goodness, active 4 to
Every
draw a
4
card.
turns, you can
Yes.
draw 1 card.
Truly the
Yeah.
most powerful power.
Yeah. So Mello takes the Friendly Fire, makes Yoel's 2 heroes attack each other. This puts Lycan into kill range, which is what you want. And Yoel's just setting up a wall. He's saying, you might take my mid tower, but you are not taking my right tower. At this point, the 6 siege damage on the Thunderhide pack is putting Mello down to 1 tower health on this lane. Mello still needs to survive one more turn.
Yep.
He needs to be able to roar this Thunderhide pack, and the positioning is just not letting him.
Ooh, everything with the X.
Yep.
This
So
is,
that wall is suddenly gone. But
That's
that
big.
Thunderhide is still there.
That's big. The
It is
condition of
big.
this game has just taken a turn. Heffalumpen has lost 2 heroes. Mello is now looking for a tie on right lane. If he can threaten enough damage, the Thunderhide will kill him, but he can kill Yoel at the same turn. I don't think Mello has enough damage to punch through mid. And Mello has enough damage to punch through mid, and Yoel has 2 heroes there to stop him.
Yep, and
But
he has some creeps too to block some damage.
Mello
wait,
might
wait,
have the
wait.
tie on right lane here.
So a tie is when both things
players'
die at the
seconds
same time.
towers die
Yeah.
on the
So
same
there's-
exact moment.
so
And that's
that-
what's happening here.
So that Thunderhide on the right side has siege. He's gonna doesn't matter if he's blocked. He's gonna hit the tower, which is at 1 health. Okay.
Can we look at
Yeah.
right lane real quick? This is
And
what
again,
it's going to come down to.
this is the ancient, for those of you
Oh.
who don't remember. But that's going from 80 health. So both heroes, or both players already have 1 tower taken.
So what happens
So-
when there's a tie?
In the Swiss, it depends like on the tournament rules, but typically you get basically like half a win for a tie.
I
or
see.
1 point instead of 3. So this is actually a really, really unfortunate alignment for Mello. It looks like there's no way for him to get this dinosaur off the board. If there was another creep there, you could combo Battlefield Control to try to like angle your roar.
Swim. It's a Thunderhide pack. Okay, it's more than 1 dinosaur. Show it the respect it deserves.
Dinosaurs. There is an alpha.
If he could somehow kill his own Jamoy, if there was any way for him to kill his own Jamoy,
Oh,
Yep.
Yep.
You'll just does the tower barrage to, shorten this lane a little bit,
Yoel
but
knows this lane doesn't matter. It's
Doesn't
all
really
coming
matter.
down to right. This is both players' second tower to go, and I don't see any way
There's no
Mello's
way.
hand can affect this. Yoel has no units on this lane.
yep.
And they will need a place to stay.
It's just going to come down to a tie, especially since Yol has no heroes in this lane. He's unable to play any of these cards anyways.
Very unfortunate hand by Mello. If you have a town portal scroll, so for example, what you can do is if you have like a second blue hero and a town portal scroll, you can like take your Jamoy out of here, and he's just getting enough magic. End the game stylishly in a tie.
ooh, never seen that yet.
Yeah.
Our first tie.
That's our first tie.
Yep.
Mhm.
So they're just gonna